Alright, welcome guys to our fourth tutorial. So in this case, we are now trying to compare if the information that was fed by the user is going to be the same or not, especially for passwords cases. So for that, we can just simply use an if statement that will do the task for us. So we can just say if variable p is equals to variable p1, right? And then we can store the information inside our database. Else we can echo a statement, or we can display a statement that says incorrect passwords. Echo incorrect password before we do the task. So let's just test this. We come back over here. So same information, we just change passwords 789, password 78, let's say 798. When we click sign up, oh, we left something on our line 26, which is this. So when we come back and click sign up, it will tell us incorrect password. But because we did not put anything on the correct password, if we were to put the correct password, which is 789, it will just become what? A blank page, which means that our passwords are being tested. So having said that, we can now tell the machine what to do, provided that our passwords that have been entered by the user are what? Are similar. So this is where we get to now push our information into the database. And for us to do that, we are going to go back to our XAMPP control panel, whereby we can, instead of doing it the short way, let's do it the long way, where we can create a table, and let's call this table users. Alright, within this table, it is going to hold information which is very key, or which is very dear to the what? To our system. So we can use number one, what we call a user ID, which is going to keep track of the number of people within our database, which is an integer data type, and this one will auto increment itself from the first person. Now we will also add a user name that the user is going to store, or that is going to give us, which is a variable or a varchar. And this varchar for the username, it can be 25 characters. Now we can also add a user email, which is going to be also a varchar data type. And for an email address, well, let's just give this 50 characters. And so that we don't get people using the same email address, we can use a constraint called a unique constraint. And lastly, we are going to get the user password, or let me just call it upass, which is a varchar. And let's say this varchar is going to be, give or take, let's just say 25 characters for the passwords. And lastly, let's define our primary key value. Primary key. Our primary key for this table is going to be the what? The user ID column. Why? Because this is the one column that is going to help us keep track of our what? Of our database. Having done this, you can just click go on your browser, on your editor, and it will result in this SQL transaction being done. Thereby you can have users, which is this database or table, which has a user ID, username, user email address, and user password. But in as much as this one is going to be auto incrementing, it means that we don't feed it information, but we are only going to feed information to these last three columns. So for us to feed information to those columns, we can now say, alright, so after we get our information through PHP, for us to feed the information, we can create another variable. Let's call it push. Why? Because it is going to push information into our database. On this one, I want you to be very careful, hence why I'm opening the codes that I have. We are going to use an insert into statement, which is the similar one that you get to meet in what? In your SQL or in your MySql. Insert into a database called what? Users. As we come back to confirm, yes, it's called users. Inside users, the columns that are going to be receiving information are uname, uemail, and upass. So u underscore name as it is, comma, u underscore email, and u underscore pass. Now there is no need for us to be storing the passwords or both of the passwords. Now after doing that, the values to be stored are going to be coming through again from the variables that we have, whereby within the first variable for the name, it is going to be $$n. For the email, it is going to be from the variable $e, and from the password, it is going to be $p. Now we no longer need to store P1 because P1 will automatically execute provided that this is correct. So after this is done, we can now get a statement that tests if this transaction or if this query was properly executed by us using another statement or another SQL query statement, which says if the test, and what is test? Test is the connection that we have over here to the SQL database. So if the test to query, the transaction we just did using the push variable, equates to true. Why? Because this transaction on line 23 and this transaction on line 8, they both equate to Boolean conditions or to Boolean answers. So if that is true, then we can get a statement, echo a statement that says record, or let's just say sign up successful. But if it is not true, else we can either echo or print or use a die, print a statement that says error in sign up. Right? So take a look at this. This if statement is inside this main if statement, which is inside another if statement, meaning that we now have to take a look at how good we are when it comes to nested if statement, because this else is the one that is making sure that our query is being done, it's making sure that our data is being inserted. So after having that done, we can come back to our page, refresh. Now let's cancel to reset. Name is Craig, the email address is that, my password is 123, and my password is 123. Provided all goes well, we are supposed to get an answer that says sign up successful. But if not, if our passwords are incorrect, it will tell us incorrect password. But if the passwords are correct and an error occurs, then it will tell you that error in what? Error in sign up. We come back, click sign up. Sign up was what? Successful, meaning that our data has been added onto our database. If we refresh over here, you will see that our information has been what? Sent. I hope that was quite clear. Meet you again in our next tutorial.